says that a simple pendulum consists of a small mass suspended from a string that is fixed at its upper end and has a negligible mass. The string has a negligible mass. The length of time in t seconds for a complete swing of a simple pendulum can be modeled by the equation t equals 2 pi times the square root of the length of the string, L, all over 32 in feet. If the time required to complete the swing of the pendulum is 1, triple the time required to complete the swing of pendulum 2, the length of L string, how many times the length of 2? Okay. So now this one is this is an interesting question because we have to leave it as a variable. We can't plug in a number. So there's a couple of ways that you could do that. One is I could plug in 1. I could plug in 1 for t and then solve for L. That's one way to do it. The other way, and then I could plug in 3 for t and then solve for the second L and then compare the two. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So let's do it that way. So if I plug in 1 equals 2 pi, actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my equation and solve it algebraically for L first. So if I say 2 pi times the square root of L over 32, what would you do to get L by itself? There's a gazillion ways to do it, but what are your thoughts? We want to solve algebraically for L. Well, let's just divide both sides by 2 pi. So I've got t over 2 pi is equal to the square root of L over 32. Then what do I do to get rid of to get the L out? Square both sides. So on the next run, I'm gonna do this, and I get t squared over 2 pi squared is equal to L over 32. Well, this stays t squared, and this becomes 4 pi squared. And then if I multiply both sides by 32, I get 32 on the top equals L. All right. So then, if I do because 32 divided by 4 is what number? 8. So this becomes 8 t squared over pi squared is equal to L. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat on my calculator. I'm going to plug that in as a function on my calculator and look at the table of values. So I'm going to say 8 times x squared divided by, whoops, not that one. Delete that. Divided by, divided by pi squared. Oops, I want to look at the table. All right, so when t equals 1, L is equal to something. When t equals 3, L is equal to something else, okay? So I've got 0.81 and then 7.92. So over here I've got 0.81 approximately, and then here I've got 7.29. So one way to do that is to figure out basically what they're asking is how much am I increasing L by? And so if we look at our answers, what do you notice about the answers? Well, I'm either increasing it by 1/3, I'm increasing it by multiplying by 3, or multiplying by 6, or multiplying by 9, or multiplying by 27. What do you think? Well, one way to figure it out is I could take this 0.81, or I could take this 0.729 and divide by 0.81, and look what I get. Oh, I entered it in wrong. It should be 7.29 divided by 0.81. There we go. Sorry, put it in the calculator wrong. 9. Now that's no accident. The reason that we have 9 is because what are we changing? Well, the only thing that's changing is that t goes from 1 to 3. But t is squared, so this goes from 1 squared to 9, right? Or 3 squared, right? If I were to square that,